can all be experts and we can do it in our own way. And that's exactly what I love teaching people. And it couldn't be a better time right now for you to step up as that authority, call yourself an expert, teach people what you know and what you love doing, and get paid really well for it.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Joel Irway here, and welcome to another very special episode of Experts Unleashed. I have a very special guest today. It is going to be a very congruent message with the theme of our podcast. I know you're going to get a lot out of it. Our guest today is Debbie Allen of debbieallen.com, and she is an expert's expert, right? She helps with helping position yourself as an expert to become a highly paid expert. And she has a book written on that topic. And we are going to be diving into everything that you need to know on how to actually present yourself, how to position yourself as an expert, get other people to respect you, and turn that into becoming a highly paid expert. I talk a lot about this stuff just with, the natural things that I do in webinars and author creation, but it's always great to get somebody else who literally wrote the book on this stuff. And so very excited to introduce you to Debbie. Debbie, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm excited to be here in the man cave. I was saying it looked like a man cave, the interrogation room. I
Yes,
love
it's
it.
very, yeah. If you're watching this video, it's, or if you're listening to the podcast, and you're not seeing the video, I'm in, my office with all the lights shut off except for my spotlight. So it looks a little bit dark with one tiny light in the background that makes me, that gives a pretty cool feel. So Debbie, why don't you introduce yourself? Give us a little bit of background about what it is that you do, so we can get familiar with your field of expertise.
Okay, great. Well, it's a long story. I'll make it short. Yeah, I started out as an entrepreneur at 19 years old. I bought into the family business when I was 19, and it was a car rental business. And then we started a mini storage business, and I had my first $1 million sale before the age of 30. Then I left and went on my own, bought a business that lost money for 6 years, which thought was crazy, but that was the first opportunity. Turned that around to a multi-million-dollar business. That was a clothing store, and built multiple clothing stores, built them, sold them. And then what's the next thing, right? Oh, I can teach people to be successful. And so I never knew anything about the speaking business. I was at one of those retail trade shows and where I would buy for my store. And I said, I could do a seminar. And he's like, okay. So next thing you know, I'm doing a seminar. I launched my speaking business instantly, filled the room in Vegas. But it wasn't instantly. It was a lot of work on that part. I started out then is known as the paid professional speaker, but I was just I was on another podcast this morning, just talking about how many times I've reinvented myself. And when I went through these stages of careers, everybody's got their stages. I call it the next chapter. It was like, there's another reinvention. And then you kind of get to a point in your life, you go, okay, how many more reinventions do I have left in me? Because it is exhausting. And even when I came up with the highly paid expert, it took me a year and a half to come up with that. And I had been on a 3-year world tour, speaking tour, amazing experience. But I just had to reinvent again because I couldn't continue to do that. It was exhausting. I had no life. At that time, I was doing online dating, Joel, and it would be like, oh, I met you. Okay, nice, Joel. Hey, call me in a month or two. I'll be back in town. It's like, and I was like, I just didn't have a life, as far as outside of my career. And I said, okay, I'm done. I'm off the road. And so then I started trying to brand myself as this. I didn't even know expert was the word then, and it was challenging for me. And that's why I know this was something I could teach other people, because here I am, this marketer and this person that's been in this business for so long, and I can't come up with this thing right away that really makes me stand out as that expert. And so I would start out like business and brand strategist. And I had really put all my business into this world tour with another company. And I was really coming back, reinventing my whole website, reinventing my business again. And it was challenging. Anytime you take a dip. And I started out with business and brand strategist. And it was too generic, but I couldn't get it. And then I was like, what do we really do? Okay, I've been a highly paid expert that happens to be, an expert who speaks professionally, but uses that to create multiple income streams. And that's what I could teach people, as highly paid experts. So I came up with the idea for the book. There was going to be a workshop, which is going to be my mentoring program, which is going to be what I was really known for. And I've written a lot of other books, but this one is really the thing that really resonated with so many people, because especially now, Joel, you could sit there in your man cave, doing your podcast. We can connect with people. We can do live events. I mean, right now it's hopping in and out of live events all morning. I was on 3 different live events, listening to other people's events. And it's like we can all be experts and we can do it in our own way. And that's exactly what I love teaching people. And it couldn't be a better time right now for you to step up as that authority, call yourself an expert, teach people what you know and what you love doing, and get paid really well for it.
Yeah. It's funny because you mentioned reinvention, and having worked with thousands of experts in my own business, I think that we in this community probably go through reinvention more than anybody else, like any other industry. It's probably just, the natural thing for us because we, number one, we love information. We have the ability to be an entrepreneur. And it's like, okay, cool. I can teach people this. And once you get a taste of that success, it's like, okay, well, you might get tired of that, or you might just be latched on to something else that you've done. And you want to teach them something else. And so, when you were talking about reinvention, like I think that's something that gets echoed so much in our industry. And I would love for you to kind of talk about that, for a minute. We'll go on a little tangent here, but
Well, that's great.
before we dive into the deep, the nitty gritty details, but like, how many times do you think you've reinvented yourself throughout your
Oh
professional
God,
career?
I ran out of fingers and toes for
Yeah.
counting that at times. I've done so many different types of businesses, and I think this is a true entrepreneur that has, done more of reinvention. So you're either a true entrepreneur that builds and builds businesses. We kind of get bored with stuff. We want to redo, learn something new. I went through that phase. Now, as an expert, we continually have to reinvent because the world around us is changing. Marketing is changing. We know that COVID and the pandemic, kind of shut us down. So then we started doing more stuff online. We had to learn more technology. It forced us to learn some things that we didn't learn before. And I think it knocked a lot of people that were high on their pedestal off their pedestal. And that's hard to admit when you've been in the business a long time. But the reason you're knocked off your pedestal is because you might have been at the top of the game and the game changed and now you have to catch up to the game. And I think that's the really true reinvention for an expert, is that you always strive to be that best in your industry. And when things shift, sometimes it does knock you down completely, like 2008. That knocked me down completely. I was at the highest paid speaking. It was a best gift though, because I wouldn't have really positioned myself as an expert and had other multiple income streams, wouldn't have done the world tour. And now COVID, it's like it just kept going and going and going and never ends, right? And it's like, okay, well, I need to learn. First I think it was like people like, I need to dabble in this online stuff and I need to be this online expert and I need to do, more podcasts, more things like this. And I think it got a lot of new experts in the business. I mean, it's the absolute best time to be getting into this expert business. So, there's the people that have been around a long time that had to reinvent completely the way they were doing it. I mean, from if you're doing live events, which I've been doing for 16 years, to going, and I have been doing the online, but nothing to the magnitude I was doing live. So the reinvention is like, can I make as much money, if not more, being completely online and letting go of what I know? And I think that's what you have to do when you reinvent. It's really scary because you have to let go of what worked and what you know really well to embrace something new. And it's emotional. It challenges your ego. It challenges your wisdom. It challenges a lot. And I think it's a higher level when you're an expert, because you always strive, like you said, Joel, to be the best that you can be. And when the game's changing, it's like you got to do that hustle again to catch up, and then you ride the wave. So people always ask me, when do you reinvent? When your marketing's not working anymore, when your money's not coming in like it was, when it's challenging to get a client. I mean, when you see all the breaks going on around you, it's like there's a red flashing light you need to pay attention to. It says reinvent.
I love it. I love it. And you couldn't be more true, right? And people naturally will think reinvention is scary, which it is scary because you're
Mm-hmm.
changing course, you're changing paths, and you're venturing out into the unknown. But we're entrepreneurs. Like that's what we were born to do. I mean, if we are afraid to go do something new, then you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. And so that's not really a conversation that we're having, but it's almost like embrace the reinvention, because once you get to that other side, like, it's greener pastures. Like, it could be something incredible. And so anyway, that just resonated with me when you were talking about reinvention. So I wanted to take
Yeah,
a
and
little.
a couple other reasons why I've reinvented is because business started getting hard.
Yeah.
Business should not be hard. You shouldn't have to push. If you're pushing it, you're pushing against the grain, and you're not going with the flow. So you haven't reinvented something that's like, oh, different way of marketing or whatever. And the other one is when it's not fun anymore. Like, as Joel, as entrepreneurs, we like to have fun. We're all about finding freedom. And if we're not having fun and we're not free in our business, or like, this isn't cool. I want to do it a different way.
Yep. 100%. All right, so let's talk about becoming a highly paid expert, right? So this is the book that you wrote. So what inspired you to write that book? And you said you wrote it, what was it, 10 years ago?
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 10 years. So, and it's still like the thing I talk about the most, even more than my newest book. Because there's anybody that has, like the subtitle here says, turn your passion, skills, and talents into a lucrative career by becoming the go-to expert in your industry. Like, who would want that as an entrepreneur? Who wouldn't want the right to write their own ticket to say, I have paid my dues. I know something that I can teach other people. And then the thing is, being the expert, you just have to learn how to transition the skills and knowledge onto others so that you can teach them what you know. And then here's the cool part about the highly paid expert is that it teaches you multiple income streams of how you can deliver that and make money from just your knowledge. Because when you think about it, Joel, it's just a form of communication. Whether you're sitting reading the book, you read the book. Now the book is a marketing tool. The book leads you to go to a live event, you go to the workshop. Then it leads you into going into a group program or a personal mentoring program or another thing, another skill set that helps you with becoming that expert. But it's all different forms of communication, whether it's a live event, a podcast, a book. It's just like, okay, I want to know something, and then you can go deeper into it. And that's the same thing with anybody can do as an expert. It's like, well, how do you want to deliver that? Do you want to deliver it in a mastermind, in a membership program? What is it? How do you want to deliver it? What do you enjoy doing? There's so many ways to make money. And you're sitting on them. I know everybody listening to this podcast, Joel, is sitting on money, and they just don't know how to do it. They don't know how to share what they know with somebody else. And I was doing it. That's why I know that is because one of the income streams I created was kind of by accident. And it's one of my biggest income streams is my client VIP days. So I have they are really VIP experiences. Like, I put every detail into taking care of one client at a time when they come. Like, they're here almost 2 days. I pick them up at the airport. I take them to dinner. They come and stay in my beautiful guest house, which is like the Ritz-Carlton in my backyard. And, it's like, wow. And so I love decorating. So my husband wanted to build a guest house because we have aging parents. Maybe they're going to need it. We got a huge yard. Let's throw up a guest house, right? He's like, well, I'm not going to build the whole thing yet. I'll just get it started. And it's like, okay, now you don't just get it started. You finish it. Then he gets it finished. Like, okay, I want to have my decorator mode take over. And I, do it like to the nines. And then I'm like, well, now I need to monetize this thing. It's not going to be an Airbnb it's going to be the very high end Airbnb, which is like you pay for a VIP day with me. And now you get this whole experience. You get to come and you get to stay here. And I love brainstorming and doing strategic planning. Like, I'm just a business visionary, and I can take somebody's idea and take it here. I can take this idea to a business from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I can see it. Right. And because I've done this model for so long. And so then we just sit in this, my conference room here, and we work on their business all day, and we leave them with an action plan. I leave them with an action plan up to 6 months, so they know every single thing they're going to do. Like, here's all the ideas. Now let me wrap it up in a pretty bow, and here's your things to do for 6 months to blow your business up. And that, like I said, it came by an accident because we had built the guest house, and it wasn't going to be for my clients. And then I was doing a small event. I think I had like 25 people there. It was a specialty event. They paid to come to learn how to speak and sell. And I said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to sell from an auction. I never even done it. I just love auctions. So I auctioned off my VIP guest experience. And And then I had all these people raising their hand and saying they wanted it. And I had actually done a reserve. So I put this bid in an envelope. And because we always undercharge, even as experts, we'll undercharge what we think people will actually pay. So I put that dollar amount in an envelope and I said, okay, you have to meet the reserve. That's the rules. And that's it. That's all the rule is. And so I had 8 people stand up, run to the front of the room and say, I want it. Okay. I said, well, sell me on it. So they were actually, I didn't know how to do the auctions. I was like doing it my own way, like going with the flow. And they're all like, okay. And they kept bidding up and bidding up and bidding up because they wanted to win it. And so then I just went and looked at all of them and I said, well, you're also excited to be working with me. I'm really thrilled. I said, this is a lesson I'm learning, is that I had undervalued myself. And that's what I'm teaching you, because I'm going to pull out the dollar amount, which doesn't exist anymore. And you have all gone over that dollar that I was asking in my head. You had to reach the minimum. And I'm going to give it to everybody. And I'm going to give it to the lowest bidder in that lineup of 8. And I'm going to take all of you. And so they all bought. And that was 8 the first year. And then it went 12 the next year. Then it went 18 the next year. It was like, okay, now it's a bed and breakfast. So it's like, I got to raise my prices because people want to keep coming back. But that was just information I was sitting on.
Well, you can't leave us hanging. Like what was the reserve price and what were people bidding?
No, this, because I started many years ago, it was as low as $3,500. That was nothing. And they were bidding, $5,000, $6,000. I think the lowest bid at that first auction was $4,850, 48, 40, to get all this time with me for, $4,800 was crazy. So I gave them all that price. Right. And so, it just goes up from there. And now my day is 7,500. So, and now I could pick it and it'll probably go to 10,000 once we get back out of COVID and we have more people coming. But the return on investment is what's massive, is to have all of that time with me to be able to pick my brain and build, not just pick my brain, build your business for you, build your plan. That is not a lot of people do that. And here I had the ability to do that, but I wasn't monetizing from it at all. I was just like any coach, just, let's do another call. Let's get this done. Let's do another call. And what we get done in a day and a half would take us a good 6 to 8 months to get done with calls.
Yep. I love it. So what other income streams do you like? Like as an expert, like what are you most gravitated to monetize for yourself? Like which ones do you like? Obviously you like the VIP days, right? But what are some other examples that you prefer?
Well, I'm like you, Joel. Like we're still have that entrepreneur in us. We like to do different things, think of different stuff. So I'll watch a webinar and say, oh, something about laser coaching. I watched a webinar last month. Says you should offer laser coaching. I'm like, you know what? My clients have been asking me for laser coaching. I don't do that. Like 15-minute calls. I just want your lifeline. Can I buy a year of that? How much would that be? I never offered it. Yep. And I was like, I'm listening to this webinar. I'm like, yeah, I did that for 1 or 2 of my clients that asked, but why didn't I offer that? Because after they stay with me a year, they want to stay with me. Right. So I just sent out an email and I think I sent 3 emails to my existing clients. And I said, I'm going to take 10 clients at this price for laser coaching for a year. And I sold it. So that's a quick cash formula. So I like quick cash. Who doesn't like quick cash? I like teaching people quick cash. When they say, I don't have money, well, let me teach you how to make the money to pay off your program as fast as possible. It's just delivery. That's all it is. You don't have to deliver your VIP experience like I do. You can put people in a hotel room. You can still make it. What is it? What would it look like for you? I had invested in a mentor years ago and he had, he had the guest house and he had all this and you can drive my car, I let people drive my brand new Mercedes. Hey, take my car out. Like, they're like, oh my God, this is killer. It's like they're a part of my family when they come. So, you just gotta be thinking about how can I keep helping my clients. And I think that's where a lot of people miss out on income as an expert, because if you have done a great job working with them for 1 month, 6 months, or a year, they shouldn't leave you. You should find a way to keep them in your loop with a mastermind, with laser coaching, with continuous VIP days, at least once a year, whatever that is, because they're going to keep taking them to the next level. Because when they leave me, Debbie Allen, they're going to go to Joel Irway. He's next. I want him next. They're going to give you the money. So you might as well find ways to keep working with them. And once you've taught them enough, let them go to anybody else. But you've seen that too, Joel. It's like, I think people, even in the position themselves as experts, like, I just do this and this is how I do it. So I want you to open up your mind to say, hey, here's a cafeteria of a way you want to deliver. Just go pick out everything you want. You can deliver it. And here's an income stream, and here's an income stream. And everybody does it just a little bit differently depending on what their industry is and what their business lifestyle is and what they enjoy, like you said too.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I talk about is when people are designing their offers, right? And they're like an expert in, in my world, we talk a lot about high ticket courses, and well, along those lines, there's this idea of like group coaching, and a lot of my clients are like really attracted to this idea of group coaching, which is totally fine. Like you can have a group coaching program, but so many people they have tunnel vision thinking that group coaching is the only way for them to scale their one-to-one business. It's like that's not true at all, right? That's totally not true. And we talk about all sorts of different ways that they can scale, how that they can create different offers to create different leveraged offers outside of, one-on-one coaching. And you know, I've actually never even considered laser coaching before. I've never even heard of it until you
Hey, I'm gonna
mentioned
make
it.
you
So
some. Throw it out there. You're gonna make some money. Instant cash, quick cash.
yeah. And so, one of the things that we do is like we do game planning sessions, which are probably very similar to a VIP day, a little bit different experience. Like we do it over 2 calls virtually. I've considered doing one-on-one VIP days in the past. I just personally haven't done it, but there's you get paid for strategy, like sell strategy, which so many
Mhm.
people don't do. Like they think that they have to actually sell a deliverable, and people don't realize that strategy is a deliverable
Oh yeah,
because
I
it
love
gets
it.
people pointed in the right direction. And so yeah, I mean, as an expert, there's so many ways that you can monetize your information outside of just like the typical idea of like, oh well, I should sell a course or I should do group coaching. It's like those are two of probably like 50 different options that you have, and it's time to just start to think outside of the box.
Well, yeah, and group coaching should turn into a course. Like, one of my first course, my highly paid expert academy course is fabulous. Like full on beautiful video. I mean, so much loaded into it. It's everything the book is, but now in a course. Like it's awesome. But I did all that work first. Took me 3 months to build that whole course, and then I would got on a webinar, praying I'm going to sell it. So that's a little scary. So, a lot of my clients that are starting, I said, go do your group program, but sell the group and then make it the course. So that now you've sold the group, you got the money up front. Now it's a course, you can continue going on. And now if it's 10 modules, then you could do a couple group calls and they got the modules. You don't have to do it all over again. There's so many different ways of delivering. And like you said, Joel, what do you enjoy doing? I like to do the things that get my clients the quickest ROI. And but again, I use their personality and what they want to and how they want to grow their business, because some of them have. I have one client, she's got a 60-hour work week. I mean, 60-hour full-time medical career, and she's building her business on the side. And she's one of my best clients. Like she does everything I tell her and then some. And I have others that are doing nothing. They've already quit their corporate career and now they're just playing. They go, oh, I didn't realize how tired I was. I need another month to play. Like, no, you're an entrepreneur now. Kick it up. An expert is an entrepreneur. You got to go.
What are some of your favorite ways of getting the word out, like marketing and growing your audience? Like, I'm assuming it's speaking, because I know you used to do a lot of speaking, but like, give us a little bit of insight as to your marketing strategy and how you get the word out.
Well, I think my biggest income stream for the last, oh, since we've been down like a couple of years, I would say for the last 13, 14 years actually has been live events. Because I came from that speaking world. I know how to create that experience of an event. I know how to be on stage for days on end, and create that energy and excitement, and get
So
that,
hosting your own live events, not like
yeah,
speaking. Yeah.
hosting my own live event. So I'll do the signature event, which is called Highly Paid Extra Workshop. I'm actually going live, coming up in October, for live since 2 years. And then the specialty events are smaller events. I do small events anywhere from 6 people to 25. Those are high end, more personalized group programs, teaching mostly speaking to sell. teaching the skill of selling online, teaching the skill of selling from stage, multiple different closing techniques, and then having them practice that and do it live. Sometimes the one where I take 6 people is that they actually present, and then I go through every single one of their slides, because that's the only way I learned it. That's not my biggest moneymaker, but it's the biggest return on investment for my clients. So I only sell that if they're buying a bigger package. And so, that's where my biggest money maker's been. Yes. Can I sell online? Yes. Do I do group programs? Yes. Would I like to do less personal one-on-one than I've done over the years? Yeah, that's my next reinvention. I'm in the process of that reinvention right now, Joel, but I'm so good at the live stage that it's really hard to let go of my golden handcuffs when I can make multiple high 6 figures with 2-day event, and I got it dialed in, so it doesn't take me that much time to do it. So it's harder for me to actually do the online stuff, to monetize as much as I have. And so that's your skill. Like, people, like, I can give them an outline of how to do an online course. I can give them direction for that, but I'm like, go to Joel. Like, Joel's the next person that's going to teach you how to really monetize this, take it to the next level. I can do the same thing for a book, but then I'm going to send somebody that is a book coach or a book expert to finish it with them. So,
Yep.
I work with other experts. When I know what I'm good at and what I like doing, I don't try and do it all. And I think that a lot of times when people start out, like, I'm an expert. Okay. Oh, hey, I went to this workshop and they were teaching this thing, and now I can teach it. What? You don't have any success in it. No, you can't teach it. It's like people saying, come to my workshop. Now I'm going to teach public speaking. No, especially, you haven't got paid to speak. It's like, so I think that you have to have made some money in it, and that gives you the confidence and also the system to do it, because it isn't just teaching, it's transferring your skills onto others.
Mhm.
That's the biggie. So I can transfer a strategic plan, like you said, that's mindset. Here's a plan, put it all together. And then I can transfer the skill of speaking and making an offer. Like, okay, don't say this, use a limited word, say this, change your slide here. Like that's a skill set. And so I can do both because I've done that. So you have to pick a lane and know exactly what you're good at teaching instead of trying to do everything. And that's really what an expert is. When they know you, what do you do? Okay, Joel, online courses, right? Debbie, she teaches you how to become an expert. So she creates the foundation for you. Like, people come up with an idea and then I can create a business around that. Or they're leaving the corporate world and want to start an expert business. You got to pick a lane. You got to stay in that lane. And you know that, Joel. I mean, when you reinvent, and then we're going back to that again, is because you can't dabble in this and that.
Yep.
You got to stay focused on that lane.
What has been the biggest, what has been your most effective list building strategy, right? So like you clearly monetize the best when you host these 2-3 day, live events, large and small, right? But in terms of growing your audience, what have you found to be the most effective?
Well, it used to be summits. I would do my own summits. The summits are really a lot of work. Like, I don't like doing them. So it's like, okay, everybody's doing the summits. I got to do a summit. I'm like, oh gosh, it's a ton of work. So I'll fight myself because, I'm invited on so many summits, and they're like, oh, I got to do a summit again. I'm like, no. Okay. So I'm actually signed up for a course for somebody like, how do you monetize summits? Because I really haven't monetized them. So what does work for building the list for me? I mean, that's one way it can work for people. It just hasn't worked for me for the time and energy I put into it. That's what it got to pay. Joint venture partners. I mean, this, Joel, and that's how I met you, is by having these joint venture partners that can promote each other. Like, somebody's at the higher level, they've got the list already. I mean, you got a podcast called Experts Unleashed. I have a podcast called Access to Experts. Like, we're perfect to work together, right? It's the same following, but we do different things. Do they need Debbie Allen? Do they need to work with me? Yes. Do they need to work with Joel Orway? Yes. They need both of us. If you're an expert, you need that. So we have picked a lane that just connects. But did I know you, Joel, before I joined that group? No, we just met recently. So that exposure of being on your podcast, being or promoting one another's email that promotes a webinar, that's the biggest moneymaker, is because you're not playing by yourself. And I've been such a solo entrepreneur for so many of my years growing up. That is like, you can't play this game as an expert, as a solo entrepreneur, and be as successful, anywhere near as successful, or grow your list as fast without partners. and those, partners are all experts, but
Yep.
we respect each other. We stay in our lane and we promote each other. And I think that's the absolute business. And when you position yourself as an expert, you have more opportunities to get those good JV partners.
Yep. 100%. It's funny because I haven't leveraged the JV circuit, or I don't want to call it the JV circuit, but I haven't leveraged JV partners as much as I probably should. Moving into the end of 2020, or yeah, we're in 2021 now. Thank you. I'm like, had a little bit of a brain fart there, but moving towards the end of 2021 and into 2022, that's been a big focus of me, is to, okay, find some key strategic partners that we can help each other out in, because there's different types of JV worlds that you can play in. Like if you go in the webinar world, which is where I kind of grew up in, this is why I was kind of anti joint ventures for so long. I mean, especially in the biz op world, like JV partners in the JV biz op webinar space is just so it's just so slimy, and it's like promote my stuff and promote, like I just didn't like it. And then being part of JVMM for God, like probably 3 or 4 years now, it's a different world. Like I love, participating in the email group, and but I never really like actively reached out to connect with other people. And so anyway, moving into the end of 2021 and 2022 and beyond, I am making a more a stronger, more focused effort into leveraging the right partnerships with the right joint venture partners. And so
Right.
glad
So
it's worked
here's
out for you. Yep.
right. You just get on the phone call and then you go, okay, so I have a list now. I put together a list of here's 6 different ways we can work together as JV partners. Get on a phone call. Okay, we do a podcast swap. We could do a webinar swap. We can promote a live event. I've got them all laid out. Right. So I get on the call now and it's like, last one I just did, he's like, wow, you got it all laid out. And you just started this JVMM. Well, because I know like these are the things I offer and I don't know what you offer. How do you want to play? Like we're getting to know each other. First, I already know your business. I've already done research on you. I mean, you're very Googleable, and it's like, I've done the research to make sure we're the right fit.
Yep.
And I think the thing about when we're talking about JVMM, it's a group that is joint ventures, and joint ventures are partners that do maybe just one promotion for you. We promote each other, and you find ways to keep sharing business with them. And I think the reason that one's worked so well, you have to be invited, so you have to be at a certain level. And I think that everybody's very generous. And every time I get off, like get on a podcast or work with somebody somehow, I'm like, okay, I can think of somebody else. Like I referred you to another podcast before we got on the podcast today. Like I already sent that person an email. And so, it's like, as soon as I'm done with something, like how can I share that success? Because that is my motto in business. And I think that's really helped me grow partnerships. I've always been really good at growing partnerships through a book model. And so that's one way to start. I wrote my book, Confessions of Shameless Self-Promoters, which became my first bestseller, all through partnerships, through high-level people, Mark Victor Hansen, Joe Vitale, Dan Kennedy, all the people I followed as a marketer. And I asked them, can I do an interview, and put that into a book? And that's what positioned me from the very beginning, before they even knew who the hell I was.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the best way. It is the best absolute way, but you are not going to get great JV partners to promote you if you don't position yourself as an expert. So this is the foundation. You've got to get your foundation of who you are as an expert first. Then you can start playing bigger games. That's why I love teaching this, because if you're not positioned like that, somebody's going to go check you out and they're going to go, what? I don't get it. I don't get what they're an expert at. I don't get the thing that they do. They don't even have a podcast. Like now, before, like you don't have a website. Now it's like, they don't even have a podcast. They don't have a book. They don't take you seriously if you don't have those things. And is that important to have a podcast? Is that important to have a book as an expert? Yeah, it is.
You got to stand out, especially in today's day and age. Podcasting is becoming more commonplace, right? I mean, it still gives you great authority, but now it's kind of like the minimum. It's like, got to have some sort of platform, right? It's got to have some sort of place where people can check you out, listen to you. I love podcasts. So I have 2 podcasts, and they've been the best investment in my business, hands down, because if somebody discovers me, then they say I've got a podcast, they'll binge my podcast content, they'll listen to my voice. There's something about listening to somebody's voice versus reading it on a blog or reading it via email that builds a closer connection, and it's been just an absolute massive ROI in my business. So can't
And
agree
you've
with
got
you
you've
more.
got that great radio show voice. You don't have to go to the studio. Hear it
That
right there,
that's
right?
what everybody
You,
said. Not
you
everybody, but
do.
I have heard that so often, and I don't get it. I don't know what a radio voice is, but so many people
It's
have said
yours.
you've got that radio voice, and I guess thank you for the compliment. I don't I don't know what to
No,
say to
it's
it,
like
but
it's easy to listen to. It's strong, it's deep, and it has commanding voice. But we can get some microphones and things to make it work, and you can get better at that working your voice.
yep.
I used to hate my voice because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, people's like, oh, I love to listen to you as a speaker. You have such a great voice. I'm thinking, I have a deep voice. I hate my voice, because like we don't like listening to ourselves. But it isn't about listening to yourself. It's about getting the interaction with other people. And so you've created joint venture partners even with people on your podcast, just like you reach out. How long have you been doing your podcast? See, I'm now turning to the interviewer. How long have you been doing the podcast?
We started in 2017. Both of them.
Wow.
I
So
started in
you
20.
were like
Well,
dark
Experts Unleashed has
ages.
been around. Yeah, Experts Unleashed has been around, I think, since early 2018. Sold with Webinars, which is my marketing podcast, is we started that in 2017. So
And you do a podcast, what, twice a month, every week?
it's kind of just whenever I feel like it.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ever want to be handcuffed and forced to have to release an episode. We've got over 100 episodes of Experts Unleashed at this point, and close to 200 have sold webinars. And so both of them are for my internal audience. Like I didn't design it to be external outreach, SEO, all that stuff. I mean, I'll naturally get that with Experts Unleashed because of all the different interviews that I've had and just people searching for those people. They'll find mine. But yeah, it's meant for my internal audience to share connections and for them to learn. And so it's been a great tool. It's been a great resource, and couldn't recommend it more highly for anyone to start it. And it's really easy to start. It's not difficult to start a podcast. So
Well, I think that you have to have the real goal in mind, like you said. I mean, if you sound like a brother from another mother, like if it isn't fun, we can't do it our way. You don't
yep.
want to be handcuffed, like we're true entrepreneurs, right? Is that, I had to figure mine out. I did a whole year with really the wrong podcast. It was a new book that I had come out. And I was thinking, well, am I doing too many interviews with other people? I didn't know how to promote, or I was promoting them too much, and they weren't really the JV partners. So, one of my new things I get almost every day, I get an email, can I be on your podcast? And I'm sure you must get this constantly. You have to hand select them after a while and get the right people.
Yep. There are tons of podcast agencies out there who are just pitching you, which, sometimes you get good guests that way. And I would say it's probably like 3 to 4% of all pitches I actually respond to. But anyway, we kind of got off topic a little bit. And so, Debbie, this has been fantastic. It's such a great topic to talk about, especially for people who are trying to reinvent themselves, trying to figure out their next path, right? How to position yourself as a highly paid expert. It comes down to authority. How can you command authority? How can you position yourself? Podcast is just one way. I guess, we'll wrap up on this, but what are some other great positioning techniques or tactics or strategies for someone who is looking to take that next step in their speaker career or in their expert career? What are some of your favorite ways?
Well, before we get into that, I'll tell you that, I think that when you keyed it right there, right, and you're listening to this right now, and there's something about this podcast that kept you interested in every word we're talking about, is because even if you have a job, both Joel and I would have to spell it because that's terrifying for us to have to go get a job, but you have to have a side hustle. We already know through this pandemic, people, my heart goes out to the healthcare workers, done so hard. They worked their butts off through the whole thing. And now they're going, oh, you have to have a vaccine or we're going to fire you. You can't be here. I'm like, my body, my choice. Okay. I'm not judging either way. I'm just saying that there are people that have been in industries that have gone, and I know this because I'm working with a lot of nurses and doctors and all kinds of industries. They quit. They went to all this school. I have another one, is the dean of a college. She quit She's still paying off college debt. And it's like, to get into this business, you don't have to have a lot of investment. It's very profitable, and you need to at least create a side hustle if you're still staying in the business. Think of something that you can create as a podcast, as a course, as something that you can become just even an online expert working when you want.
Yep.
Everybody needs a side hustle. And it couldn't be a better time in history right now to create your side hustle expert business. Like, it's so primed right now. So if you're listening, pay attention to what both Joel and I are telling you, is that there's so many ways, and it could be any topic. I mean, anything. I mean, it's some crazy expert, worlds. There's things for everything, just like there's associations for everything. Like, I remember when I was working in the association market, I was like looking through all the associations. So there's the National Gay Rodeo Association. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is huge. Who would have thought? National Gay Rodeo
Well,
Association.
I was going to tell you, I mean, usually, I don't want to say usually, but oftentimes like the more obscure niche, like the better. Like
Yeah,
um
those are my
just
peeps, right?
to clarify that, I mean, like, you want to know what a real difficult market is to enter? Teaching other experts how to like grow their business. That's a real competitive market, right? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so a lot of people, they get tunnel vision, like, oh, what am I gonna, what am I gonna focus on? It's like, think about what you've had success with, like think about what you're really, really good at. And I'm trying to think of, some of our, I've got a client doing $250,000 a month right now, teaching IT professionals how to get a six-figure job, like without a certification. Like, he's just
Mm.
showing them this new skill, giving them that skill, not having to go through a whole certification, and then showing them how to go find a job. And he's crushing it. He's doing $250,000 a month
Wow.
since August of last year. Like, it's just wild,
Well, and he's talking their language. IT professionals typically don't have the personality to do probably a good interview, and he's
Yeah.
telling them, he's probably teaching them skills that they haven't learned because they think one way, linear. And so, yeah, awesome. Yes, I know. The deeper the more niche you are, the more successful you can be in many ways. So again, you can be an expert at anything. The piece that I do, that I'm known for, is taking your idea or your business, either reinventing it to get you to the next level, positioning you as an expert, or from an idea, starting a new business or a new side hustle, positioning you. So that's where my expertise is. That I find an area you can own. You own the title, you own all the domains around it. Then we build the brand. Then we build out the whole business. So I'm at the foundation level. So then when you get the foundation built, you go to Joel, and Joel teaches you the online courses, and you find other people. So that's very true what you said about teaching other experts, because I know where my lane is. My lane is at the foundation level. I
Mhm.
can continue to work with people when they get to their levels, but I do refer them on to other people. I want to stay at that foundation level because I love growing businesses. So that's my jam.
Yep. Yeah, it's so important to stay in your lane. So important. Like, the wider you go, the more difficult it is to stand out. And people miss that. They miss that mark a lot. But it's because it's really difficult to think, like, in your mind, like, oh, well, if I just hyper focus on IT professionals, showing them how to get this specific job, like, it's not like he's targeting all IT professionals. Like, he's targeting our IT professionals, showing them how to get a very specific job, and he's making 250 grand a month. You know, it's like, you just don't think that there's that much opportunity going so niche, but there
And probably
is.
doing it
It's
all online, right?
Oh yeah, it's all online. It's
Yeah,
all online. He spent
incredible.
$13,000 in ads to make $250,000 last month. He just posted that in our Facebook group. It was amazing. It was amazing. And so, um,
So there's part of me that's just like jealous of the people that just can nail it 100% online, because it's like that would be my next reinvention. But there's also part of me that I'm an entertainer. I wanted to be an entertainer when I was a young girl. And my mom says, I said I'm going to be a singer, and she's like, your voice sucks. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You saved me from that. And then I said, well, I can be a dancer. And then she's like, really, to make any money, you need a pole. That's not a good idea either. So it's like I had to keep finding, so it's not quite the same energy online as far as entertaining, as my entertainment is education. Right? I guess that's the way you have to put it, the way it worked. But anybody can do this. Everybody just does it in their own way.
Awesome. Yeah.
You
Well,
like the
thanks.
poll. You're still
Thanks.
thinking about the
Thanks, mom,
poll,
for that
aren't you?
advice. Yeah, your voice sucks, and you need a pole to dance.
Yeah,
So
right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, she was heading me in the right direction. She's like, okay, I'm going to save you from yourself.
yeah, sound advice. That's what parents are for, right? So,
Yeah.
Debbie,
Then
where can we find your stuff? Like,
it's
so let's drop
crazy.
some links.
Yeah, let's do that. DebbieAllen.com, easy name to remember. DebbieAllen.com. That's my website. The event that I do live is called the Highly Paid Expert Workshop. And what's the domain? Highly Paid Expert Workshop. But just go to DebbieAllen.com. You can click on my events, click on my mentoring programs. It takes you everywhere. It's like a spider web.
Where do we find your book? Is it on Amazon, or do you have a
Oh yeah, go to
website for
the
that?
yeah, I don't yeah, I'll go to Amazon. Of course, it's there, the highly paid expert. You'll find it there. One other thing I want to leave with a gift because you can go to my website, you can look around, but there's a new page I just put up called Expert Positioning Success. So this is exactly what we've been talking about today, expertpositioningsuccess.com. And there I walk you through, what it's like to be an expert, why create that business. So there's a short 30-minute video on there, and then there's the magic golden button. If you pass the test, done the 30-minute video, and it sounds like it fit for you, then we'll have a conversation. If it isn't, then we won't have a conversation. But if it is, then click the button and we'll set up a time. We'll actually talk one-on-one.
Awesome. Debbie, it's been a blast. I was on your podcast not too long ago. It's great to have you on this podcast. This is an entertaining episode and always informative. And so for those of you listening right now, go check out Debbie's stuff. It was a pleasure having you, Debbie. And I know that we'll be in touch soon. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.